So those are the fourth round contests that have been set up in this side of the women's draw. Caroline Wozniacki against Camila Giorgi will be potentially the one that can take place. This is the scene on Arthur Ashe where the players are running a little bit late here. Caroline Wozniacki against Camila Giorgi will be the match coming up on Arthur Ashe Stadium, though, and we will be back there in just a few moments' time. So, Caroline Wozniacki, the number 6 seed, against Camila Giorgi of Italy. Wozniacki once again getting the evening billing on Arthur Ashe.
It's a big moment for you. First time you've ever been out on Arthur Ashe Stadium, but I think that you like the big stages.
Yeah, I'm excited to go in and see.
You got through qualifying, so that helps as well. You've played a ton of matches. You've never played Caroline before. What is the key for you tonight?
I think so. I mean, I need to play like these matches I had played before, and I think so. I mean, it's gonna be a interesting match.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Caroline Wozniacki, former finalist here at the US Open. Caroline, what is it at Arthur Ashe at night that you love so much?
It's a real electric atmosphere. It's what we all train for, to be out there at night. And, you know, I've been so lucky to play my, now it's going to be my second night session out there.
And you're playing against someone you've never played before. You know she's played a ton of matches coming through qualies. What's the key for you tonight?
I need to focus on my own game, and, yeah, that's it.
As always, good luck, Caroline.
As always, questionable insight in the pre-match interviews there. Players never like to give too much away. This match, Caroline Wozniacki against Camila Giorgi, is going to be shown exclusively live on Eurosport International for you. And as you heard, it's the first meeting between these two. The qualifier, Camila Giorgi, ranked 136 in the world, up against Caroline Wozniacki, number 8 in the world, the number 6 seed here, and a player who is used to performing in the night session. Ross, I mean, as far as this match goes, it's there to be lost by Caroline Wozniacki, really.
Well, yeah, it's not as straightforward. I mean, Giorgi's been higher ranked. She's clearly playing well. She's come through qualifying, which means she's playing some really good tennis. And often with Wozniacki, you know when you walk on the court, she's not going to blow you away. So it's actually, she's relying on you to make errors. She moves fantastically well. She hits her backhand like a dream almost every match. But if the tactics are right for Giorgi and she can target the forehand and not make the unforced errors that Wozniacki relies on, she's going to have a chance, because you know, Wozniacki's played well, but she isn't at the same form that she was when she was number 1 in the world and right at the top of the rankings a few years ago. But it's not easy. Night session, opening match for Giorgi, never been out there, and that's quite daunting in itself. And Wozniacki, as we said, being at the top of the rankings, would have experienced all this in the past.
As things currently stand for Caroline Wozniacki, I mean, she potentially could play Italian opposition all the way through to the semi-finals if she keeps on winning. If she wins this game, she's guaranteed to be playing an Italian in the next round, because Karin Knapp plays Roberta Vinci on the grandstand court this evening to decide that fourth round. After that, if she was to win the fourth round match and Flavia Pennetta was to beat Simona Halep, she could be her quarter-final opponent. So I mean, it's opened up as far as the draw's concerned. I would say for Wozniacki, she could well be through to the semi-finals and not necessarily playing her best tennis, but being steady. She could put herself back in a great position here in New York, which is a slam she loves.
Absolutely, and it's actually what players like Wozniacki need to do. You need to be ranked around, you know, top 8, top 10 in the world, so then you get the opportunity to have better draws in terms of ranking wise, and therefore Grand Slams never work out that the top 8 seeds or the top 12 seeds go through to the last 16 or to the quarterfinals. There's always upsets, there's always retirements, always shock results, as we saw with Kvitova today. So it's very rare that you tend to play your seed in every round as expected. So she's got a great opportunity, Wozniacki, and she will be looking at that in the back of her mind thinking, yeah, I've got a good chance here to go deep once again, and it can push my ranking up, it'll boost my confidence, then I'll start playing better, I'll start feeling it better. And she loves New York, you know, past finalist here, so she's got a great opportunity, and she would be the favourite to be in that semi-final, looking at the draw that you've just mentioned, John.
Yeah, looking at the draw she would be, but one has to obviously allow, as you say, for those upsets, for the retirements, and anything can happen. So for Caroline Wozniacki, I know it's the old cliche and all players use it, but I think people use it in every sport, don't they? It's just sort of take one game at a time, and that's really all she can do. Here, her opponent, Camila Giorgi, as you say, on the comeback trail. I think what we were able to understand from her pre-match interview, I don't think her grasp of English is necessarily that high, which will do her a disservice, because I'm sure if the interview had been in Italian, she would have had plenty more to say. But also, I mean, how tough is it to do an interview before walking out on court? As I said, you very rarely hear any of the players giving much away, because their focus is on the match at hand. It's not on speaking to a member of the press.
That's right. I think it's actually great for TV. It's really good to actually have the players speak before the match, but you have to understand what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 questions, and you're going to get limited answers where players aren't going to say too much. They're going to say, I have to be aggressive, I just want to hopefully play well, and we'll hopefully speak to you at the end of the match with a win. That's what everyone will say. And well, in terms of Camila's English, it didn't quite work out that well, but she's a lovely girl. Actually, I spoke to her at the French because I know her coach, and she's really improved since then, and they were feeling like there was signs of her improvement back in April, and as we see here, it was only a matter of time when she's had 2 straight sets wins, very good wins in the opening 2 rounds, and well deserved here with a chance to play a top 8 player in the Arthur Ashe Arena. What an arena this is as well. It's massive place, bustling crowds, the noise, the whole atmosphere. It's nothing replicates it in the world of tennis, and it's such a special place, and she should enjoy this, and hopefully she can get off to a good start and not be fazed by the whole ordeal of this match.
Yeah, very important always for the start, especially on such a stage, as you say. And but to see Camila Giorgi here, and also having mentioned just sort of the amount of Italian players who have made their way through to the 3rd round, and well, hopefully we'll definitely see some beyond the 3rd round. We already know Flavia Pennetta is through to the 4th round, and we know that the winner of Nap against Vinci will be an Italian, so that's 2 through the 4th round. So Italian women's tennis is really blossoming, and you only go back a few years and it really was just all about Pennetta and Schiavone, and now these other young players have emerged. Sara Errani leading the charge last year, and her and Vinci being the top doubles pairing as well in the world. I mean, Italian tennis is going through a bit of a purple patch.
It is indeed, and so often you see that in tennis where you push each other. So we're hoping for that to be in Britain, where players are often, I want to be better than him, I want to be better than that person. Even if they're your closest friends, you always want to try and be above the person around you. And also, Vinci will be feeling, well, if Sara Errani can be number 5 in the world and make semi-finals of Grand Slam, well, she's my doubles partner. I feel like I'm pretty much as good as her, so why can't I be in that stage? And Camila Giorgi's walking on the changing room with her Italian counterparts thinking, well, I'm a bit embarrassed here to be hanging around hitting with you guys, and you guys are always in latter stages. I want a part of that, and why not? Because we're very similar when we practice. It's so often it's mental, and when you can have other fellow compatriots from your own nation pushing you and doing well, so often it breeds success. And we've seen it with Heather Watson, with Laura Robson in Britain, where they push each other, and the rankings are often similar. So they deserve it. And what's fantastic about Italian tennis is Pannetta's back. I think she is great for the game. She's a former top 15, top 10 player. She's got phenomenal ground strokes, and she's done well. She's beaten a top 5 player in Errani, even though it was her friend. Almost makes it even more special. So fantastic that Italian tennis is doing well, and they could go really far. I think this might be a step too far for this Italian girl to coming up against this Danish girl, Wozniacki, but who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Certainly have. I mean, just looking over at Eurosport International at the moment, showing the Tommy Robredo Dan Evans game, a match that will be following through to its conclusion once the first set has concluded. But I mean, how much do you think Andy Murray's success has pushed Dan Evans?
Hugely. I think Dan has actually responded well to Andy's winning US Open and Olympics, and everyone hanging out with Andy and practicing with Andy and seeing Andy. You just get vibes off him that means you want to win. So he's been a revelation for British tennis.
First set. Camila Giorgi. Sets quickly. Thank you.
So it's Giorgi Wozniacki to get underway here. Eva Astaraki in the chair. Let's take you through the opening stages. It's a solid first point from Giorgi. That'll give us some confidence.
Jeez, she would have been thinking about this match for a day and a half now, and thinking about that first point. How am I going to play that first point? It couldn't have worked out better. Yes, Camila would have been told by her coaching setup that that's the tactic to go to on ball 3, which is the ball after your serve. Attack the Wozniacki forehand. Try and dominate the rally from the first ball. And that's the wing to attack.
The difference in that rally was that Giorgi allowed Wozniacki to dictate it.
30-15.
Well, the initial adrenaline will have worn off a little, probably not too much, but unforced error into the net to bring it back to 30 all. Good disguise coming in there to play that forehand for game point.
Yeah, superb. That'll make her feel a lot better. Big point, 30 all. Really not afraid to step into the court and drive through the ball. It's this young Italian girl. Very slight figure, but good ball strike, good power.
Well, she's got herself on the board, which would have been her first aim getting out on court, and now she can put some pressure on the Wozniacki serve. And Wozniacki hasn't served overly well so far in this tournament. Previous matches coming against Chanel Scheepers and Duan Yingying in the first round. That match against Duan, where Wozniacki showed great character to come back in the second set, down 2-5 to win it 7-5. Against Chanel Scheepers, very much more convincing. She raced through to victory 6-1, 6-2 in that one. But she'll know she's going to have more of a match on her hands today. One imagine, certainly from Giorgi, who started promisingly.
Once we see Wozniacki choosing to take the backhand over the forehand from the middle of the court, very rare. Most players move to their left to hit the forehand. Wozniacki does the alternative. She's got such a strong backhand, that's why.
Well there.
Well, I think we can see it's clear that Giorgi's got a very strong backhand. Quite a flat shot, hits through the court well. And with Wozniacki's trademark with a backhand cross-court, she might have to rethink where she drives the ball. She targets the forehand more of the Italian.
drifts wide. Giorgi would have been disappointed not to have perhaps put that point away sooner, but still
15, 13.
stuck at it. Look on Caroline Wozniacki's face there told a story.
Yeah, concern.
Misses with the backhand that time, which will be a relief for Wozniacki as we go back to 30 all.
It will, but it was a good miss. She was dictating that point once again. She looks calm, composed. Does Giorgi. Good energy. So often in these big matches your feet don't move very well at the start. She's right on the button.
Once again, finding it easy to return the Wozniacki serve. Second shot of the rally from the Italian, though, finding the net. So game point for Caroline Wozniacki to level this up.
Replay the point.
No complaints coming from Wozniacki.
14.
Giorgi feels she should have had the point.
Oof. There shouldn't be any complaints with that call.
Just wonder whether Giorgi had managed to put that point to the back of her mind, because very early to be getting tetchy with the umpire about a call and the way things are going. She started well. She doesn't need a distraction.
No, she doesn't. But full credit to Wozniacki, she served well there. So often we see her service speeds fluctuate, even on first serves, down to mid-80s, but over the 100-mile-an-hour mark and hitting it well. So good start that will settle her nerves very well. There's always some nerves at the start of these matches, and both girls done well to start.
Hitting the ball beautifully, Giorgi, right from the off.
She sure is.
15 love.
Very sweet hitter.
Is that another good miss?
Not so much. I didn't actually like that one as much. I was just going to say, confidence in sport is such a fine margin, isn't it? Camila Giorgi ranked 136, but feeling so confident, like she could beat anyone in the world and play in any arena in the world. If you're low on confidence and you have to go and play Arthur Ashe Arena first round, having not qualified, believe you me, she wouldn't have the start that she would have had here. So it's just a feeling inside you. Tennis is always there. The ball hitting's always there, the timing's there, it's just what's in your mind. She's feeling really good about her sport right now.
Longest rally of the match so far, and Giorgi comes out on top of it with another thumping backhand.
Tremendous hitting from Giorgi. You can't do much better than that. Corner to corner, down the line, cross court, change of direction, constantly keeping your opponent on the run.
That's a good return from Wozniacki. Coming back to what you were saying about confidence, it's interesting, isn't it, that it seems to be in the women's game at the moment, with the possible exception of Serena Williams, that players ranked as low as 130th can come out on court and believe that they are going to win, and you don't have the same in the men's game. Now, I'm not saying that that's anything to do with just it's just, I think it's, I'm going to have to wait. Lovely backhand, but it's nothing to do with the mentality of the sexes. It's just to do with what we have at the moment between the men's and the women's game, I feel.
Absolutely, and when you have the big players at the top of the rankings, they're so tough to overcome, especially the last few years.
So just 10 minutes played here, but from what we've seen so far, Camila Giorgi of Italy is more than up for this.
Going back to the point before the commercial break, John, I think you made a good point. I think the reason in the men's game it's so tough to overcome the top, let's say 10 players, that's, you know, the equivalent of Wozniacki, is they've always got powerful games. Songa, Berdych, Del Potro. These players are hitting the ball bigger and stronger than other players, whereas if we look at someone like Wozniacki, Irani, Jankovic, the equivalent of the rankings in the women's, they're not big hitters, they don't overpower you, but they're mentally strong and they're just more consistent week in, week out. So on the occasional match, on a random match like this is in the third round of the US Open, in a big arena, who knows what can happen in the next hour.
And also, they're playing best of 3 sets, and you're more likely, you get more upsets of the likes of Federer and Nadal in a best of 3 than you do in a best of 5. Look too comfortable in at the net.
No, it was a stunning pass, but there wasn't much movement at the net. What I'm really liking about Giorgi's game is she's hitting the ball at the top of the bounce. She doesn't boast huge numbers in the height department, but she's not letting the ball drop, and she's taking time away from Wozniacki.
Good serving. 100 miles an hour, that one, from Caroline Wozniacki. Good length on the first 2 grand strokes from Giorgi, and then dropping just a fraction short, and that allowed Wozniacki in. Chance for a love service game.
Strong serving from the Dane.
2 games first set.
She must be really chuffed with the way she started, continuing her good form of the last match. She knows that in order for Giorgi to beat her, she has to play at this level for a while. Deep down, is a girl ranked 130 able to? Well, we shall see. It's all square.
15.
Gets a bit of luck off the top of the net there, Giorgi, but still, she guided that home.
30.
An ace.
14.
First of this match, and a chance for a love service game in reply to that one from Wozniacki.
shot from Wozniacki, that forehand down the line, a shot that she's improved a lot and is a sign of where her game is at.
Too much on that one, and Giorgi comes in at the next change of ends with another fine hold of serve.
Giorgi leads 3 games to 2.
Giorgi leading then 3-2 in this opening set. Good start this by Camila Giorgi, but an equally good start from Caroline Wozniacki. Don't take anything away from the way that she started. This is the situation over on Louis Armstrong, where Tommy Robredo has just taken the opening set. 8 points to 6 in the breaker against Dan Evans. An hour and 5 minutes it's taken for that first set. If you want to continue watching the Wozniacki-Giorgi match, you should switch over to Eurosport International now, because we are going to follow the remainder of this match between Tommy Robredo and Dan Evans here on Eurosport 2. Set.
So the former finalist, Karolina Wozniacki, serving at 2-3 against Camila Giorgi, 21-year-old Italian. Giorgi is a qualifier. She's ranked 136th. She did get to the 4th round of Wimbledon last year, and that helped her get up to 73rd in the rankings, but she's slipped back in recent months. Wozniacki, 23, the 6th seed here. We'll be keeping an eye on this match while we're commentating on the end of the first set of Robredo Evans. I'll bring Nick Brown in a minute. You've been impressed with Camila Giorgi, haven't you, Nick?
I certainly have. You know, she looked very nervous in the pre-match interview before they came onto the court. Haven't really seen her play at all before, I must be honest, but I love her footwork. She's alive, dynamic. She's looking to come forward, as you know, at the first opportunity. She's got a good game.
No challenge from Giorgi. She's got real weight behind that forehand.
Yeah, it's a big hit.
It doesn't look big when you just watch it, because the backswing isn't particularly big.
Nope.
There's obviously some real timing on it.
Well, incredible wrist snap, you know, at the bottom, racket speed, and that's how she creates the power. I'm really impressed with her footwork.
Giorgi at 3-all. I know who she reminds me of, a former player. I'll tell you after this point. She reminds me a little bit of Dominic Monami, or Dominic Van Roost, as she played for some of her career. Looked very slight, didn't seem to have the technique to stand up to the big guns, but actually had impeccable timing.
And an unbelievable brain.
And a very good brain.
This girl's got more firepower for me. She's got big weapons. Obviously a little bit inexperienced, as we've seen the last couple of points.
Well, her dad was a football player from Poland who was playing in Odense when Karolina was born. Might have wanted this kicked more off the laces or the side of the foot. The only problem for Giorgi in this match is that Wozniacki is the classic counterpuncher. It's her dad, Peter. Dad is still the coach. Too long. Break point for Wozniacki. I mean, Wozniacki hasn't got a big weapon. The biggest weapon she has is the backhand. And she tends to play off the power of opponents.
Well, she absorbs the pace incredibly well, doesn't she? And one of the reasons why she became #1 in the world, in my opinion, that is because her defense was exceptional.
Well, there is some exceptional defence. Wozniacki, I think, now wants to complain about that line call. But she either had to stop.
Well, it's a great rally, one of the best rallies of the match. And look at this again. The Italian not frightened of coming forward. And this volley, for me, landed right on the back of the line.
It's a great tournament for the Italians. Got Panetta through to the 4th round. You've got Vinci playing Knapp in a few minutes. So another Italian guaranteed into the 4th round. They could have 3. And all this in the era where Schiavone wins the French and gets to the final. Italy win the Fed Cup 3 times. And they're in this year's final. Pretty much with the same team they've had all the way through. You never know, Giorgi could fight her way into the team, especially with Schiavone not playing well at the moment. She leads 4-3, first set. It's funny how the atmosphere can change in the Arthur Ashe depending on the music being played. Everyone's now suddenly very laid back and smiling. Tommy Robredo has broken at the start of the second set against Dan Evans. A match you can see on Eurosport 2. Here, it's Wozniacki serving 3-4, first set.
Well, that's a great serve. Just taking a little bit of pace off that, get a little bit more movement off the court. Able to hit that short angle. once again, Chris, a little bit of a lack of experience on Giorgi there in this game. You really want to put the pressure on your opponent.
Replay the points.
Oh, she did, Caroline. Come on. Eva Azdaraki from Greece, the umpire. That was Wozniacki trying it on. Once again, Giorgi just over pushing the forehand, but I'm pleased to see her going more for the Wozniacki forehand then.
Yes, I mean, you
She's
know,
got to play 70% to that side.
absolutely, that's the weaker side. You know, she's got to try and exploit that. It's got to be a little, you know, a little bit more discipline in the point there and the point construction, especially at certain times.
Giorgi, 4-all, first set. So that's the risk when you go to the Wozniacki backhand. She can get more power behind the shot. On this surface where the ball does stay fairly low, certainly by hard court standards, and can shoot through, it becomes a risky strategy. Great serve.
15-all.
Oh no.
15-30.
Ooh, that could be a costly mistake there. A fine serve once again.
It's an interesting outfit they've put her in. She looks quite delicate and precious in it. But actually, she packs a real punch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she reminds me a little bit of Steffi Graf, her kind of footwork in between the points.
That's high praise indeed. In between the points or in between the shots?
Sorry, in between the shots, yeah.
2 break points for Wozniacki.
First service.
Not surprised Wozniacki's challenging that one.
The ball was called out.
She might just get a bit of joy out of this.
Ball stance.
No, but close enough to justify the call,
30.
justify the challenge.
Wozniacki has 2 challenges remaining.
Still break point.
Wozniacki.
Just a little bit too much to the backhand from Giorgi, and she's made to pay.
Wozniacki leads.
And Wozniacki will serve for the set at 5-4. It's been a spirited first set by Camila Giorgi, but it's Karolina Wozniacki serving now. Serving for the first set at 5-4. I suppose that's the dividend from having gone to the backhand a lot. Wozniacki is expecting it now.
Well, once again, at this stage of the proceedings, you've got to make the return in the court. So you've got to ask the question.
Giorgi asking the question to the backhand and getting the answer she wanted this time. Five, 4, 30 all. Just caught the line. She had enough topspin on the forehand to bring it down. And it's a point for Wozniacki. Not happy with the ball. Set point. Well played. Again, no backswing, or virtually no backswing.
Well, that's brave play once again. It's great length. Hit 2 lines in a row there.
Yeah. I think they like her here. There's a lot of Italians in New York. Arthur Miller's play, A View from the Bridge, set in Brooklyn. All about the Italian community.
Oh, won't be short of getting an invite for an Italian restaurant, that's for sure.
Nope. Eddie the longshoreman. It's obviously past his bedtime. I think that's her dad. That soft second serve to the forehand is asking for trouble.
Well, that was a really nervous second serve. 74 miles an hour. That was just sitting up short. And a real opportunity for the Italian to get back on equal terms here.
Second breakback point. Snatched at it.
Yeah, she had a lot of time to play that shot, didn't really have to rush it that much.
So when I see a point like that, I feel that Wozniacki's no better than when she was world number one, when she was in the final. She hasn't improved a great deal.
No, I agree. In fact, really, she's regressed a little bit, because what happens is...
Everyone else moves forward.
Well, exactly. The game moves on
Yeah.
every year, so you've got to really look to kind of improve your game.
Another set point for Wozniacki. Long. Well, a nervous set from Wozniacki, but she takes it in 3/4 of an hour, 6 games to 4. I'm Chris Bowers. Nick Brown and I are going to take our leave of you and leave you in the capable hands of Chris Wilkinson and Jason Goodall.
Men's singles out on Louis Armstrong Stadium courts. It's currently on Eurosport 2. Tommy Robredo against Britain's Dan Evans. Tight opening set. Robredo took that 7 games to 6, but it's been one-way traffic in the second. Robredo very much in control. It'll be fascinating to see whether Evans is going to be able to find a way back into the match. Tall order now. Spaniard so tough mentally. Now leads by 2 sets to love. Back on Arthur Ashe Stadium court, women's singles. Caroline Wozniacki took the opening set 6 games to 4 against Camila Giorgi from Italy, and she'll get the second set underway. It's a tight opening set if you weren't with us earlier. 2 very different styles of tennis. Giorgi looking to attack with each and every shot. Wozniacki counter-punching to the best of her ability. Chris, you can't help but have been impressed with the quality of Giorgi's shot making. How is it that coming into the tournament, sort of ranked 130 in the world or thereabouts?
Yeah, the quality of her hits, it's surprising she's not higher. Only 21 years of age, so to me that suggests she's still maturing and needs to get experience to play at this level. Made a top 100 debut in 2012, so you know, she's one of those players I think in the next couple of years will shoot up the rankings. She'll start maturing a little bit more about her game. She's got the shots, but it's just the inconsistency, isn't it, that is letting her down. Certainly I feel players will look at her and the way she plays and maybe think she's a dangerous opponent to play against, because she certainly has got the weapons.
Is in good shape as well. Moves very quickly around the court. Got a good attitude on her too. I've seen her play a few times at Wimbledon. Of course, she did well there a couple of seasons ago, but this year too, I was impressed with the shot making. And there's still plenty of tennis to be played in this one. She's always looking to dominate. Generates more pace from the back of the court than Wozniacki off both wings. Likes to get set up nice and early. Very content taking the ball on the rise. Look at the footwork around the ball. Doesn't hit with a huge amount of spin, a little bit, but relatively flat shots. That's why she can generate that pace.
Yeah. And when you look at the stats, the big issues are the unforced errors. I mean, a lot of winners as well, but you've got to compare that to Wozniacki. Only very tidy from Wozniacki to 6 unforced errors, whereas Giorgi is 16. So the Italian is getting the balance of when to go for it, when to keep the ball in court. Can she manage her shots?
Nice to see her coming forward occasionally as well. So not just playing solely from the baseline. Nicely done. What about Wozniacki's performance so far?
Well, she's playing the way she plays, in all fairness. She's more of a counter-puncher. That's her style of play. Yes, she's been to world #1, never won a Grand Slam, and for me, for her to make the next step, she's got to be more aggressive. So, to answer your question, she's playing the way she plays, getting enough balls in court, and the opponent is the one who's making the mistakes.
That's good tennis. She has been trying to break the forehand down, which is the right play, isn't it?
Yeah, that's possibly slightly weaker of the two wings. So Giorgi is going to look to try and exploit that side.
When you want Wozniacki to be a little more aggressive, let's talk specifics. In what departments of her game?
On the ground shots, when she gets a short ball. Too many mid-court balls she's not able to put away, where you compare her to Azarenka, Serena Williams, even players like Kuznetsova who won Grand Slams. You know, they've got that killer shot.
That's a good example, perhaps, but aren't they just different types of players? That's not how Wozniacki was brought up. It's not how she learned the game. It's not how she's excelled at the senior level.
Yeah, it's tough to change something that you're used to, that you're, if you like, is born and bred in you. You play in a certain way, but we're talking about the difference to becoming Grand Slam champion. And sometimes you've got to go out your comfort zone to get over the final hurdle.
That's good serve.
He doesn't hold back, does he? Giorgi taking it early.
No, and I think that's something that she can learn too. When you talk about her maturing, Chris, and improving her game, when she gets set, she's got an opportunity to hit off a good base. She can generate a lot of pace, do a lot of damage. But she still goes for the same shot, same pace when she's out of position there, and she doesn't have a good base to hit from. That's when she makes a lot of mistakes. It's realizing, isn't it, when you can attack and when you have to try and neutralize. She doesn't quite have that at the moment. She's very attack-minded in any situation. And of course, if you attack when you're under pressure, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Doesn't matter what level of tennis you play. So again, that's something that she can hopefully learn, put together. Coached by her father.
Sergio.
Yeah, gets very animated when he's watching his daughter play, as you can imagine. Not easy, as you well know, Chris. It's a wonderful shot.
In some ways, it's quite nice having a player that has got it that way round, isn't it? Being aggressive, because it's very difficult to teach that, because she's playing out of her comfort zone. Whereas a lot of players, we talk about Wozniacki, you know, she's more on the passive side. So for them to teach her to become more aggressive is more difficult.
I love Giorgi's court position throughout the course of that rally. Each and every time she hit a shot, the next couple of steps were up the court on the baseline. Whereas Wozniacki much more content to play deep from behind hers. And then, of course, when she coughed up the short ball, Giorgi, as a result of that good footwork, that good court positioning, was ready to pounce. Her feet dancing around the ball all the time. Got the recognition that that one was going to drop short. Look where she made contact with the ball. Good tennis. When you talk about Wozniacki being a little more aggressive, can she do it off the forehand, or would it be just the backhand you'd really work on her hitting a little flatter, a little harder? Because it's technically a little sounder, isn't it?
Yeah, I think her forehand is the area to work on. We've seen Giorgi getting inside the court, and that's because when she goes to forehand, Wozniacki's shots are dropping that much shorter. So a case for Wozniacki to get through the ball a little bit more, hit it a little bit flatter.
There's Dad. He said, come on, man, more spin on that. That's what I taught you.
He's got a good set of hair, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot.
Be quite pleased to have that sort of hair at his age.
That was a good return.
Yeah, and that's where Giorgi just got to get the experience. It's tough to hit a winner off that particular shot, so you've got to trade that one and wait for the next ball.
But I'm with you in terms of it being much easier to learn that than it is to change character of the way you play and be a lot more aggressive. So I think it's always a losing battle to try and get Wozniacki to hit a little harder, a little more aggressively, because her mindset is that she doesn't want to miss. You know, I can relate to that, but for Giorgi, it is a little easier to understand when to just neutralize, when to defend, wait for a better opportunity. It's a late call, wasn't it, that? Quick discussion with the umpire initially, just before deciding to make the challenge, but it was weird. It was almost like the linesman called it after Wozniacki responded, but it was out. So back to Juice.
Giorgi has 2 challenges remaining.
Brilliant, lovely injection of pace there, but initially in the rally, Wozniacki had the short ball, didn't she? But there was no change up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Short forehand she had early on. Didn't do enough with it and paid the price for it. Here it is, just here. That's the killer shot there. But straight back to Giorgi, who was then able to dictate afterwards. A lot of those balls landing short with Wozniacki, mid-court.
And that was precisely the right moment then to change the direction of the play, wasn't it? And perhaps that wasn't. So there's the difference. Could have snuck in perhaps earlier in the rally. It's an area of her game that maybe she can improve in the next couple of years. Very strong from the baseline, but if she can add the element of being able to play all court tennis, good drive volley, sneaking in when your opponent's under pressure, then that will give her some nice options.
It'd be good to coach her, wouldn't it, Giorgi?
Yeah, I think you've got a great base to work from there. Attitude seems really good whenever I've seen her play. Very little frustration shown, whether she's winning or losing. Good athlete, moves very well. It's not the biggest serve in the world, but she's got a decent second on her. Can get some good spin on there.
He's not going to let her down in matches, as many of the players happens to.
It's an important service game, this. Been going quite some time. No call from the linesman. Overall from the umpire. We just got in a bit of a tangle there. Can't believe she didn't put the forehand away. That's why she's frustrated. Set the point up beautifully.
Yeah, straight back to Wozniacki, wasn't it? Even a little drop shot maybe would have worked wonders.
Break points. Just made it. It's an aggressive shot given the circumstances. Slightly fortunate, but they do say fortune favours the brave. Back to Juice for the 5th time. just changing the trajectory as well, isn't it? There she was pushed deep behind the baseline, so you can't afford to hit the same air zone as you would when you're hitting an aggressive shot half court. More height of the net, more spin, more depth, give yourself a chance to get back in the rally. Longest game of the match, this. That's more like it. Wonderful stuff from Giorgi.
Well, the key was it was the exact moment when to move forward. Seeing here, Wozniacki in trouble. Just edged inside the court. Nice drive volley.
Just can't string two really good points together at the moment, either of them.
In terms of stats for Giorgi, 22 winners and 21 unforced errors.
So that's +1. What's Wozniacki?
6 and 8, 6 winners, 8 unforced.
-2. Beautifully done.
The game plan is simple, isn't it? Really got to get it on that forehand. Wozniacki, wait until it lands short, which it is often, and then just take it on.
But I love the fact she created a bit of angle with that last forehand. Often she goes pacey, but goes through the opposition a lot, as opposed to trying to go around them, create more. That was nice. That's a terrific holds. Really good stuff from Giorgi. Now leads 2-1, second set.
Giorgi leads 2-1.
Live coverage of the US Open 2013 continues on Saturday, day 6. We're on Arthur Ashe Stadium Court, women's singles, first of the evening session. Caroline Wozniacki from Denmark, the 6th seed, former finalist here, of course, former world #1, against Camila Giorgi. Might not know as much about her. Starting to try and make her way up the rankings. Currently 136 in the world, though. Has been as high as 73 back in February of this season. It's a second time in the main draw here at the US Open. Lost in the first round in 2012 to Peronkova. Lost in the qualifying here in 2010 and 2011. But she's done a lot better this time around. She's playing well this evening. The first set was a tight one. Just the one break separated the two. Wozniacki boxing it 6 games to 4. We're on serve in the second. 1-2. Wozniacki's done a good job of just taking care of business on her own deal. Coached by her father now, but still getting a little bit of help from the Adidas team too, Sven Grunfeld. This team also helping Anna Ivanovic at this tournament. Done some work with Britain's Laura Robson previously, and Andy Murray, and all sorts. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
I think it's a good arrangement to have. Some advice to call upon if you haven't got your regular coach there. You know, some players might find it too full on if they've got a coach all the time. It's quite a personal thing, so if they can dip in and out with one of the Adidas coaches. I think Wozniacki has tried a few coaches in the past. She did a little bit of work with Thomas Johansson.
Yep.
They don't seem to last long, though, do they? That's one of the issues. I think the father's very heavily involved.
Yeah, only lasted a few weeks with Ricardo Sanchez, I think it was, who's now working with Fernando Verdasco, but had a lot of success with Jelena Jankovic in the women's tour. Beautifully done. Again, the court position, very aggressive. Really good footwork, pivoting off that front leg. And here's an opportunity, having worked so hard to hold serve in the previous game. He's got a chance for a break here. Brilliant tennis. Superb stuff from the Italian.
Brilliant footwork as well. Love the intensity into that volley and then the steps back. Really liking what I'm seeing here from the Italian.
It was a sensible approach as well, wasn't it? Because she came into the forehand and she still had a lot of work to do on the smash. Right snap of the wrist there to get that ball down into the court. So she's done a really good job to wrestle the momentum from Wozniacki now. Important service game this, though. That's a good second serve. It's got a lot of work on it. Great racket head speed, thin contact with the ball, but instead of hitting it with slice like a lot of the women do, getting across and up the back of the ball. Really good kick serve. Nice knee bend, good rotation of the upper body. And she will serve the occasional double fault, and I think this is a result of being aggressive with the racket head speed. You know, Wozniacki no doubles, but doesn't put anything on the second serve at all. It's the one shot she's tried to tinker with more than any other, but hasn't really improved it.
3 double faults in total now for Giorgi.
was a late call, hence the inquiring look at the umpire, just to get confirmation. It's okay to serve one, but if you serve a couple, you're going to be in trouble. Opportunity for Wozniacki to get back on serve here. As soon as she can create a little bit of an angle, so much more effective.
Yeah, it is, and the depth on the original shots in that rally, putting Wozniacki under pressure, and Wozniacki again just letting up too short with the forehand.
It's courageous tennis under pressure, 2 break points saved. That's a bit cheap.
Different to a lot of the players, Giorgi, she plays quite quick, doesn't she? Almost sometimes think of these big moments, maybe just slow it down a little bit.
Does well to get back on serve there. That doesn't look particularly pleased, though, does he? It's 3-2, second set.
Welcome again to Panasonic Night at the 2013 US Open.
A couple of good singles matches that are currently ongoing around Flushing Meadows on Louis Armstrong Stadium court. Men's singles, Tommy Robredo up against Britain's Dan Evans, 7-6, 6-1, 4-all in that third set now. So a pretty decent set of tennis from Evans, having really played relatively poorly in that second set after a tight start to that match. Played some good ball in the opening set, but Robredo, of course, so tough mentally and physically. It's going to be a long way back for Evans now. Got some women's singles as well over on the grandstand. Karen Knapp playing Roberta Vinci, the 10th seed. And Vinci's got a 4-3 lead in that opening set. Relatively late onto court, those two. Followed a couple of doubles matches and a long singles match. They're the last 3 remaining singles matches currently on court. Vinci with a point for 5-3, but not able to convert. Plays some good tennis. I really like watching Vinci play. Plays kind of old school. Nice slice backhand, good feel at the net, good doubles player. So tight one, that.
Giorgi is into the ball on the right baseline. The ball
Took her time. It was a good rally though. Some nice length from Wozniacki. Well to mix things up. There was a good forehand in the middle of it, which was nice and deep, as was that.
15 up. Giorgi has 1 challenge remaining.
Yeah, right idea going for the return there, because it's a short second serve, wasn't it? Quite like to see her play a little more of an inside-out forehand, just try and create that width.
Yeah, she's very central, and pace that she hits both the forehands and the backhands very similar. So just change that up, take a bit of pace off the inside out forehand, but drop it shorter, perhaps hit with a bit more spin, create more of an angle. Same going cross court with the forehand, more spin, drop it shorter, more angle. And you can play with a bit more width like that, then you've got a better chance of drawing errors.
Yeah, that was a good example from the backhand return. It was an inside outer, wasn't it? And all of a sudden, able to open up the court.
There it is again. Wonderful backhand to open up the court for Giorgi.
40, 30.
Nothing Wozniacki could do there other than just try and bunt the ball back in the court. So many options for Giorgi. Great footwork. Look at that, dancing around the ball, staying nice and low so she can brush up the back of the ball. Get a bit of spin on there for the control. That's good serve.
New balls, please.
Yeah, keeps it together mentally nicely as well, doesn't she, Wozniacki? No panic going 3-1 down in the second set.
No, she's always been a really good competitor, hasn't she? Sometimes, yeah, you do feel she was overly criticised for not being aggressive enough, for not winning a Grand Slam. And you look at her game, look at the holes in it, like the forehand, the second serve. It's incredible she got to world #1 and doesn't get enough credit for that in my book. And she did that by being a phenomenal competitor. It's not an easy shot. That was very high, that above shoulder height, but she's still able to hit aggressively, but with just enough spin to control the ball. Not hard and flat and down. That's the mistake a lot of people make hitting from that position. Oh, what a dig! Absolutely sensational. Incredible athleticism from Wozniacki there.
What a hustle from Wozniacki. Never gave up the point. Scrambling that extra ball back. Could have gone away here, but all credit to Wozniacki. So quick onto this one.
It's one thing to get there, it's another to have the control to make the lob. Sensational. And that's a good response.
See the more pace she gets as well, Wozniacki, on that backhand compared to the forehand, certainly coming through quicker.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can rush your opponent into error. It's exactly what Wozniacki was able to do there. It's a good game to win that. Wozniacki had done well in the previous couple of games. Looked like she was right back in this set, but Giorgi now with a slim lead gives her hope. Italian leads 4-3 now. See what's happening in the other women's singles encounter that's currently underway. Karen Knapp has just saved set points actually against Roberta Vinci. It's getting tight towards the business end of that opening set now. 5-4 deuce. It's a little wayward, isn't it? But she's always a difficult opponent. She can disrupt opponent's rhythm so easily and so efficiently. Slice backhands, drop shots, good volleyer. Decent serve on her too. Very intelligent play, very canny. A lot of experience to draw upon. And that's the opening set for the Italian. It's tight, but 6 games to 4. Well, it's the right thing to do to step up and take it on, but she's missed a couple of those deep. There's no need to go for depth there.
Yeah, just overcooking it. Anything into the space you feel would have been a winner.
I always like the response from Giorgi when she's lost a point. Very rarely berates herself. You can see the focus, the concentration on the next point, not what happened on the previous. That was a good sign.
Yeah, a little cheap on the return there from Giorgi. Expect to make her opponent work a little more.
Good length. She hits with enough pace that if she can get the ball within a metre of the baseline, it's always tough for even somebody as good as Wozniacki at defending. It's a much better serve.
It's actually served well. Seems a little more poke on the serve.
On both or just the first?
Mainly the first.
That's obviously something she has been trying to improve in the last couple of years. She has changed the technique, changed the footwork, the way that she actually springs up into the ball. 4-all. Oh, it's good tennis, because Wozniacki anticipated really well, didn't she, to stay in the rally initially.
Yeah, as an opponent, from Giorgi's point of view, you've got to expect that extra ball coming back. You can't switch off.
Living dangerously, got it done in the end. Oh, it's magnificent. What a volley. Constructed the point perfectly, but still had an awful lot of work to do in order to win it.
Yeah, good balance as well. Moving Wozniacki around. It just there's the opening. Straight in. And I like the way she moved for that volley. Good split step, enabling her to get across.
Yeah, she volleys well. There's definitely an area of her game that she can incorporate more into her game plan. bonus when you can hold serve as comfortably as that towards the tail end of a set. Gives you a bit of breathing space. 5-4. A real tussle developing in the men's singles third round encounter on Louis Armstrong Stadium court between Dan Evans and Tommy Robredo. When the Spaniards led 2-0, Chris, looked like it was pretty much done and dusted, but Evans has done well since.
Yeah, he's almost got his second win, doesn't he? He's got going again, and he took his chance at the end of that third set, and seems inspired again. And his trainer was on to see Robredo about some leg treatment that he wanted. Not sure that he could get it, so that was all going on as well. So it's changing a game. It's an interesting one. It's good quality tennis being played on that court.
It really is. Evans, of course, having a sensational tournament, having a really good run in North America in the last, 5 or 6 weeks or so, which is nice to see. So Wozniacki serving to stay in the second set. That's good footwork. Made the distance pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah, important the shot before as well. She got it down nice and low, so Wozniacki had to hit this one up, which allowed it a little more time for Giorgi to get there.
Wozniacki did make it a little easy for her by moving a little too early before she hit the last shot. Might have been time for a good little fake. Now this is a chance that the Italian has been waiting for. And now it's turned into a golden opportunity. Three set points. It's really good stuff from Giorgi. Dad's delighted, and why not? After an hour and 39 minutes, it's one set apiece now. Keep you updated on what's happening in the other women's singles encounter. on grandstand. Late start for this one. Vinci took the opening set, 6 games to 4. It's 1-1 in the second. There wasn't much in the first. I think all of the additional experience that Vinci was able to bring to bear made the difference. She's got such variation in her game as well. I love the slice backhand. Great volleyer too. Still in good shape as well. So it'll be Giorgi to get this third set underway. Oh, really good stuff. It was the forehand, Wozniacki's penultimate shot that turned things around for her in that rally.
Again, Wozniacki doing what she does best, scrambling everything down. But it's interesting seeing Giorgi get to the net again. It's been something she's added as the match has gone on. I'm also going to add that the stats when she's been to the net, she's won 18 out of 22 points in the forecourt, so shows that it's a good tactic and it's working for her.
It's got a really good drive volley on her too, hasn't it? Works really well. And she's just switched it up. Initially she came into the backhand a little too frequently. Wozniacki hurt her, but she comes into the forehand. Normally the reply is a little weaker, and then she can dominate at the net. Nicely done.
Yeah, I thought initially that Wozniacki was a little slow getting forwards. It's the right time to come in. A little hesitation there, but certainly good soft hands in the end.
Yeah, still had a lot of work to do with that shot, didn't she? Did well, because coming in on the backhand, I thought initially she hadn't done enough with the approach. So she does have really good control. Most players volley well when it's high or they've got a drive volley, but when Giorgi's been tested with the low volley, especially on the backhand, she's had really good control of the racket face. She's opened it just enough to get the elevation, but hasn't popped it up, hasn't hit it too deep. Really good.
Yeah, it's important for Wozniacki to try and hit a good length and to stop Giorgi from dictating too often.
This would be a nice start for the former finalist, wouldn't it? That's the problem. Yeah, that forehand under pressure, when she's got a little bit of additional tension in the arm, does tend to leather down. Really good backhands, measured down the line there. Didn't try and hit them too hard. Wasn't looking to hit a winning shot. Just trying to outmaneuver Giorgi. She did it well.
She did, and good with the margins as well. A nice little bit of height over the net.
Another chance to break.
So often going to that forehand on the big points is Giorgi, and reaping the rewards.
Good length. It's another one of those colossal service games. We had one in that second set, didn't we? Which Giorgi was able to win early doors, then broke to create the lead for the first time in the match. Similar scenario here. That's crucial holds. Gets off to the best possible start in this third set. Here's Chris Wilkinson with the numbers.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? We talk about Wozniacki not doing enough with the ball, and that's evident in the amount of winners she's hit. She's only hit 2 winners in that second set, so not taking enough on. And look at the winners from Giorgi. I know she's made a few more unforced errors, but it shows a lot of the points being played on her terms. And also another interesting stat is winning on the first serve. Wozniacki under 40% when the first serve goes in. So again, it's another area. Needs to be more aggressive from the back of the court and needs to get better rewards from her first serve.
Playing the big points well too, Giorgi. 2 for 2. Break points converted in that second set, and a lot of success in the forecourt, as we've already mentioned. So nice all-round package, and she'll be hoping for more of the same here in the decider. Does have the advantage of serving first, so it's Wozniacki here. Love 1. Beautifully done. And if you continue to drop the ball that short, Giorgi will hurt you. Nothing wrong with the idea of trying to create the angle, but when doing so, you need to hit with more spin, less pace. That's the mistake she made there. Quite get shot into the correct air zone. A little too flat, a little too low. It's a really good smash.
Yeah, good footwork. It's a tough one when you're moving forwards and got to move sideways and back. Did well to adjust there, Wozniacki.
Hour and 53 minutes, these two have been going at it, and there's very little to choose between the two at the moment. Early stages of the deciding set. Honours even, one apiece.
A surprise miss there, Wozniacki on the backhand.
Made it. Wozniacki's not 100% sure. Just wants confirmation. Lovely shot. That's a shame, just got a little late on the volley. That's a pattern of play that's worked well for her previously.
Yeah, just swung with the backhand volley, the racket just going too far back.
Should have done a little more with the smash there, but it was a crisp approach shot. was a horrible shot from Wozniacki. And what she was thinking there. Reward for Giorgi, though, for keeping the ball in play and for consistently moving the Dane around. A couple of decent service games already in this deciding set, and it's given her a 2-1 lead after an hour and 57 minutes. Well, this match is tight, and obviously the other one is too on grandstand between Knapp and Vinci. Italian took the opening set there, 6-4. And she's just broken back in the second set. 3 apiece now. That is Wozniacki's favourite serve, that little slider. Never nice to start a game with a double. See the body language there from the Italian, always good, but she can sense that, you know, this might be time to make a move. Well, that's a good response.
And it can be intimidating, can't it, when you're looking over and your opponent is on the move. They look as though they're really up for it. They're not tiring.
It's a nice combination. Forehand set up the last backhand well.
And again, the importance of going down the line with height clearance as well with Wozniacki. One of the best patterns of play for Wozniacki has been that backhand down the line as well.
It's nicely done. With each and every shot, she just improved her position within the rally. And always so comfortable coming forwards to finish it off. There's no hesitation at all.
Forehand again, dropping short.
Yeah, she was ready there to drive that ball if need be, but it dropped short nicely, so she had even more options available to her. But beaten for pace there, just trying to take that return just a little too early. It's a couple of decent service games from the Dane to draw level, 2-2 now. It's brutal, because it was a good return initially from Wozniacki. But Giorgi can turn defence into attack in one fell swoop.
So easy of generating the pace as well. Anything short. Good injection here.
So just got a warning there in between serves for coaching. That does get involved. But of course so does Wozniacki's. Both coached by their fathers. And it'll be interesting to see if that has any adverse effect on the Italian.
Yeah, got to try and blank it out. But it's interesting, I've seen that on some of these courts, there's a microphone pointing towards the player's box, actually in the front of where they sit. So maybe that's being zoomed back to the umpire.
Zoomed back.
Zoomed.
So Wozniacki with 2 break points. Oh, that's sensational tennis. Some brilliant defense initially from Wozniacki to stay in the rally as long as she did. But great shot making from Giorgi under a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, what was good is she didn't hold back. You know, lots of balls coming back, but kept going forwards, kept brave, and in the end, found a way through.
Still break points. It's fantastic. Really good serve too. And this could proved to be an absolutely crucial game. Didn't respond well initially to getting the warning for coaching. Has done supremely well when facing break points here. Back to Juice now.
Yeah, if Wozniacki doesn't win this game, it could hurt her mentally.
It's outstanding tennis. What a response there. That could really galvanize the Italian, who now leads 3-2, third set. Well, plenty of drama in this deciding set. Women's singles, it's all happening on Louis Armstrong Stadium court as well. It looked like Robredo was all set to win that match pretty comfortably when he took the second set 6-1, but Evans fought back bravely to take the third. Robredo has had all sorts of problems with his left quad. To treatment for cramp, he's icing it at the change of ends. Evans is playing some sensational tennis and now leads 5-3 in the fourth set. Looks like it's going to go the distance, and it looks like Robredo is struggling. Real turn up there, Chris.
It's a real turn up. I mean, incredible stuff from Evans. He's fighting all the way, and as I say, he looks the fresher of the two. Robredo really seems out of sorts. So if that goes to a fifth, then you know Evans in with a great shout.
Yeah, what a fantastic effort that would be to come back from 2 sets to love down against Robredo in a slam to win in 5, but still plenty of tennis to be played if it does go the distance. Similar scenario here. Many more unforced errors for Giorgi, but many more winners too. So you've always got to look at those two stats together, and you can come up with a plus and a minus, which gives you a much better indication of the overall picture in the match. It's been Giorgi who's been trying to dominate, trying to dictate play, so you would expect many more winners and a few more errors, and that's how it's panned out so far. So having had chances in that previous game to break, interesting to see how well Wozniacki fares in this service game. Got the advantage of serving with the new balls. 2-3. Often the men's tour serving with the new balls is a distinct advantage, but sometimes on the women's tour it's the returner that has the advantage. If they can get a good hit on there, ball travels through there a little quicker and put their opponent under a little more pressure. Like that.
Yeah, way to go after a second serve that's short.
Desperate need of a decent first serve here. There is such a big difference between the quality of that and her weaker offering. Shame. Nice solid approach though from Wozniacki to draw the error. Nice to see her have the courage to move off the baseline. She's much more content there. she's missed it. Can you believe it? Superb hands from Wozniacki. What a gutsy point that was from the Dane.
Great point, and a big point. Just how strong in the net here. You thought that Giorgi would get it past her, but held really tough there, did Wozniacki.
And that too could be a real turning point. All. No let up at all from the Italian. That was sensational tennis.
So good, and I love how comfortable she is when she's at the net. Good technique on the volley, not afraid to come forwards, but always moving on to the ball.
Yeah, the contact point there is superb, right out in front of the body. It's firm grip on the racket, good control of the racket face as she slides down the back of the ball. Here's a chance to break. Wozniacki's hanging on in net. That forehand could well be her undoing. Second chance to break in this game. That's good length on the serve, but again the forehand lets Wozniacki down, and it's Giorgi who draws first blood in this deciding set. Dad is delighted, as you can imagine. She's 2 games away from victory now. And a quick update from grandstands. Roberta Vinci is safely through in straight sets. She was a breakdown in the second, but responded beautifully and gets it done in 1 hour and 27 minutes, 4-3. And of course, Vinci will now play the winner of this match. Giorgi, 2 games away.
Well, in some ways now, because Wozniacki is down the scoreline, we might see her just open up a little bit more. Nothing to lose. Certainly a better return on that occasion.
Just snatched at that. Anything would have done there. Wozniacki was already going the other way. Sometimes she does just try and be a little too aggressive when a bit of finesse will be all that's required. So in a spot of bother here, 15:30. It's a great response. You've got to admire the courage, because even if she does miss a howler, next point she's back focused and ready to go for it again.
Yeah, focus has been excellent. I like the way it takes herself to the back of the court just to get her mind together.
The quality in the volleys, so different. Wozniacki there just, I mean, no technique at all, just trying to get the ball back in place somehow. But Giorgi has volleyed supremely well, and good hands there.
Yeah, it looks to me Wozniacki not as comfortable at the net, doesn't really want to volley it, so almost a state of panic when she has to.
That's majestic tennis from the Italian, playing some of her best tennis of the match in this deciding set, and now has a commanding lead. 5-2. That's impressive, Chris.
So impressive, the way she just keeps on going for it. This is a pressurized situation and she's not holding back, just being aggressive. You know, even if she makes a bit of a howler, misses an easy one, then the next point she's still going to play the same way. She doesn't then change the way she's playing, and I can really see some really good things for her in years to come. She's only 21 years of age. This is all a learning process, but she certainly has the weapons.
And a bit of news from the men's singles. Dan Evans served for the set at 5-4. Had a couple of set points as well. Had a couple of unforced errors. Got a little tight. Served a double. Missed a forehand. And all of a sudden, Robredo with an opportunity to get back into the fourth set. The body language is a lot better now. And he might be the favourite there now to come through in 4 sets. Real disappointment for Evans. But of course, he's still in with a shout because they're on serve. What's your call there, Chris? Going to go to 5?
I think now Robredo is going to get it. I think Evans has had his chance. 40-15, he was up on that game as well when he served the set.
Still looks in phenomenal shape, doesn't she, Giorgi? Tail end of this deciding set. The body language has been fantastic throughout. Caused all sorts of problems for Wozniacki, who's now serving to stay in the match. Good length on the return, something that she's excelled at the last a couple of hours or so. Always been looking to go after Wozniacki's second serve. There it is again. Court position, so aggressive.
Really good footwork though to create the opening, isn't it? Making so much space around the ball. Incredible to think she's ranked 136.
Not for long. 2 points away now. Fortune favouring Wozniacki there. Needs all the luck she can get at the moment. Quality of the forehand and the second serve have been her undoing today. Hasn't been able to keep good enough length to allow Giorgi to dictate play the vast majority of the time. A point away from victory now. It's a good serve.
Yeah, smart serve. Not the biggest one, but the accuracy was spot on.
Well, again, it was pretty central from Giorgi, but it was enough to draw the error. Big difference in the body language of the two fathers, isn't there? Another chance to put this one to bed. That's another good serve.
Yeah, got to blank it out though, hasn't she, Giorgi? Can't let these match points affect the way she plays.
It's impeccable length initially, and she's hit that drive volley so well the whole match.
Again, the kid's going to that forehand and then edging inside the court. Beautiful play.
Yeah, there was no hesitation whatsoever there, was there? Courageous tennis brings her another match point.
See on that return to just get it on that forehand, just put the pressure on. Maybe a little tightness getting in.
Well, that's what she was trying to do there. Just over pressing. Now, there might still be a little bit of tennis to play. Some battling service game from Wozniacki, fending off match points along the way.
She's looking a little nervous, isn't he?
Let's see what Giorgi's made of here. That's a brilliant start, such an important game.
One of the best points she's played, really, Wozniacki. Soaking up the pressure and then injection of pace here on the backhand.
She's such a good battler, isn't she? Giorgi responding in kind. That was a nice measured backhand down the line. She didn't try and hit the cover off the ball, just guided it into the space. And she served well too. Yeah, she's thrown in the occasional double fault, but she's kept the racket head speed up on the second serves in particular. 2 points away. And there was another really good example. What a serve that was. Got such nice trajectory. Can create the angle, outmaneuver the opponent. Brilliant. A fourth match point, the first on her own deal. That's the one shot that served Wozniacki well at the tail end of this deciding set. And perhaps Giorgi just backing off there a little bit throughout the rally. For the first time in the match, looking in a little discomfort there, but the crowd getting right behind it. Match point number 5. And she's done it. What a brilliant win for the Italian, ranked 136 in the world. She beats the 6th seed, the former finalist here, the former world #1, in 3 tight sets. 4-6, 6-4, 6-3 in 2 hours and 32 minutes. Tennis of the very highest quality.
Brilliant effort. I mean, she's hitting it so well, taking it on every opportunity. And I think that pretty much shows where Wozniacki's game is still at. against a powerful player, they can get through her. The defence isn't enough to take her to that next stage.
Yeah, Wozniacki, I think, will be a little disappointed. She battled well, but throughout the match, she was always the more passive of the two. She was relying upon errors. She wasn't in control of her own destiny.
She wasn't at all, but very impressed as we have a look at the father. Must be very proud of his daughter. A lot of time we're able to put on the court together. But as the point I was going to make, it's one thing doing that aggression for a couple of games, but doing it for that whole period of the 3 sets and believing in yourself, that takes some courage.
What do you think, New York? "21 years of age, you get through qualifying, and now you play in front of this amazing crowd. How does someone so little hit the ball so big?"
It was amazing, this match, especially the first time here in this court. It's amazing. The crowd was amazing too.
I think there's somebody over there. Your dad, Sergio. I think he might be the most excitable man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's there. Thank you so much. And my team is there too. So I want to say thank you to my fitness synchro trainer, Robbie, and all my team is there. Thank you.
Yeah, you are such a fit player. You run and run and run, and you're so aggressive inside the baseline. Your next opponent is your fellow countrywoman, Roberta Vinci. So we're going to have an Italian through to the quarterfinals. Your thoughts on Roberta?
I never played with her, but for sure will be an interesting match. Really fun, exciting.
I think you've just made lots of fans here in New York. 21 years of age, through to the round of 16. Camila Giorgi, grazie.
Yeah, what an experience. Not only did she have to take on former world #1, but she had to deal with playing on the biggest court in tennis and excitable fans, and they really took to her, because it's very easy to do, isn't it, Chris, when you see the style of tennis that she tries to play. I mean, yes, she's going to miss shots, but courageous, takes the ball on all the time. As she mentioned there, court position, inside the baseline, shot after shot. Takes a lot to continue to do that over 2.5, 2 3/4 hours, and do it when it really matters.
It does, I mean, and it shows incredible belief. And you say about playing on this big court, some players get out here and they freeze. They're nervous. She's 21 years of age. She's come through the qualifying. She's ranked outside 100. And she's playing like a top 10 player. She's playing like she's been on this court every day of the week. You know, it's a phenomenal performance.
And she's had a couple of good runs at Wimbledon as well, so that shows you that she likes to play and really responds well to what others would consider pressured situations, playing in the biggest tournaments in the world on the biggest of stages, and all the experience that this is going to help develop her tennis in the next couple of years. Just 21, definitely someone we're going to see a lot more of in the future, and that's can only be a good thing. Yes, there can be some tweaking of her game. She can create a little more angle perhaps, rather than going a little more central. There can be a bit of variation there, but the ability to come in to play all court tennis, I mean, absolutely fantastic off the back of a really good platform to build from.
Absolutely. I mean, she's playing like that, and we're looking at the game still thinking there's little bits and pieces that can be added to a game. I mean, when we look at the stats, one thing I really like is the net points won, 27 out of 34. So it shows as the match went on, she kind of got a good understanding of how to win the points. And you see the winners, none forced errors, pretty high numbers, but it shows that she was in control of the match. I mean, Wozniacki, if you like, was just a body on the other side of the court, putting the ball back in court. So Wozniacki didn't really have an awful lot of say in some of the outcome of the points. So, you know, Giorgi's got to look at that match and think, you know, how well she played, the belief she showed, and also take something from it where you look to improve as well.
Yeah, I guess what we've got to say for Giorgi then is, okay, well, if you've played well at Wimbledon on a couple of occasions, lost in the third round this year, fourth round year before, and you're doing so well at the US Open, you know, why are you not doing it week after week on the WTA Tour? So perhaps, you know, she gets pumped up when she's playing in the big ones, and she needs to do that when she's playing in the slightly smaller tournaments as well. But there's not a lot wrong with her game, that's for sure. Now, men's singles just finished over on Louis Armstrong Stadium courts. A real shame for Dan Evans because he actually served for the fourth set, but what an effort from Robredo. He's such a tough competitor. He was struggling tail end of the third, struggling throughout the fourth, cramping, treatment on the left quad, and really was playing second fiddle to Evans for much of the third and all of the fourth set, but he turned it around when it really mattered. Evans got a little tight. He had a couple of set points, so the double, unforced error off the forehand, allowed Robredo to hang around and paid a heavy price for doing so. So it's the Spaniard who's through in 4, but boy, didn't he have to work hard.
It was a brilliant match, and Evans has come through the qualifying as well. His ranking's going to go inside the top 150. He's beaten Nishikori, he's beaten Tomic, and he's played a great match today. So for him, he's got to use this as a springboard to what he's going to achieve in the rest of his career. But when you talk about careers, Robredo's he's done it all. Such a great pro, mentally so tough and really tough to get through. He was struggling with his fitness, but he dug deep enough, and that's the quality of a great player, is digging deep to find a way through.
Yeah, that's why he went through just months and months of rehab. To be at the US Open, to be playing in a night match like that, to be getting the win when you have to dig as deep as you possibly can. And that's why, of course, someone like Camila Giorgi has played as well. Can you imagine the amount of hours she spent on the practice court with her father, fitness trainer? She's in superb shape, playing all of the smaller tournaments, the ITF events. She's been playing those for a good 8 years, trying to get the ranking up, hasn't broken into the top 100 this season as yet. And now, of course, off the back of this run, has an excellent chance of really improving her ranking. And coming up against players like Wozniacki on week in, week out. So it's always nice when that hard work is rewarded. So some terrific tennis to start us off in the evening session. And of course we've got Roger Federer and Adrian Mannarino to come. Stay with us for that.